I haven't made a monosteel knife video in a while, so I thought I'd make a chef knife and try to go for a more rustic look. I'm starting with this piece of 80 CRB2 that I put an angled cut on the end of, and that saves me from having to forge the tip, which would be really difficult starting from a piece of bar stock this wide. Here I'm cutting off the steel at an angle, so the bar is set up for the next knife. I didn't realize it at the time, but I cut off the steel with way more steel than I needed to make this knife, and it's not really a problem. It just means that I wasn't able to forge this as closely to shape as I would have liked. This is when I realized that I had too much material. As I was drawing it out, it was just getting longer than I wanted, and I didn't want to make a super long chef knife, so I didn't forge the tip to shape like I wanted because I realized I was going to be cutting off most of that material anyway. For this knife, I wanted to do a minimal amount of grinding on the bevels so that I could leave more of the forged texture on it, and I thought that would go really good with the rustic finish that I was looking for. But for this knife, I had to grind the bevels pretty high to get the proper blade geometry, otherwise the cutting performance would have suffered. For the next knife, I will be forging the bevels closer to shape so that I can leave more of the forged scale on the side and have the minimal amount of grinding that I wanted. While I'm working on this knife, I thought I'd show you guys the blade geometry that I aim for. Right now, this knife is not sharp, it has no edge, but it's just thin enough to be able to cut paper. I also heat treat these knives to be able to handle normal use, and while you should never use a knife like this to be chopping into wood, I just want to show that just because the edge is thin doesn't mean that it's fragile. This is a piece of hard maple that I'll be roasting and using as a handle material for this knife. Here I'm sealing the end grain in beeswax so that it doesn't crack or split during the roasting process. Roasting the maple improves its stability and makes it more resistant to rot. It also allows it to get a smoother finish, and the darkness that it gets from the roasting process really makes the grain pop. I'm using the maple because I normally use exotic hardwoods, and I thought that this would just go better with the rustic look that I'm going for. While I was making this handle, I found some brad point drill bits, and I was really confused as to why I haven't been using these, because they're really good for drilling a more accurate hole with less tear out. And after I drilled them, I realized that the drill bit is way oversized. So I had to go cut a new block and drill the holes with my usual drill bits, which end up with a really tight fit on the pins. For this knife, I won't be doing any cut tests on food because I don't want to contribute to the patina before someone gets it. So for a sharpness test, I have some hair whittling to show you. And that's pretty much it for the video, and I'll appreciate any comments on what you think of the knife, and thank you for watching.